Thank you, Dr. Pitanga. And may I request the newcomers who have presentations to make to raise their hand because, okay, can you name the projects?
Transparent public distribution system.
Okay, and yours?
Rangde.
Rangde. So I think now it's your turn. Transparent targeted public distribution system. So are we ready now? Rangde is ready, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gurinder Singh. I represent Rangde today here. Rangde, so let me, before starting about Rangde, can I have a quick sort of information as in how many people are aware about microfinance? Can I have a show of hands? Microfinance, how many people are aware? Okay, not many. Okay, half of them. Okay. So let me first introduce microfinance. Microfinance is made up of two words, micro and finance. Micro means small and finance, as you everyone know, and it's about savings, credit, and insurance. Microfinance is it is about small finance, and it is about giving money to low-income households. And as many of you may have noticed, the names of the likes of Mr. Mohammad Yunus, who have been there, and the Grameen Bank, that was first for one of the banks for the microfinance institutions. The other big institutions in India like Spandana or SKS or Basics, who are there for microfinance. So this is about giving small loans, loans as low as rupees 1,000, rupees 2,000 to low income households, and making them realize that even they are bankable and we can trust these poor, and they are giving their payments back. So there's some of the statistics as the repayment rates for the poor in the microfinance is as high as 97%, 98%, which is more than what the formal finance sector is. So the poor have actually come forward and broken this roadblock that they're not bankable, or they cannot be trusted. The repayment rates all around India are 98%, and the default rates are only 1.5 or 2% for poor. So next time you go give a loan to the poor, you may be assured that your money is going to come back, rather than if you lend to a friend who may not return your money. Even we knew about microfinance, but we wanted to know about it more a little, and we wanted to do something about it rather than just knowing about it. We started with a very small question. Everyone, if any one of us had 100 rupees in our hands, what would we do? People like us would spend it on, people like me would spend it on snacks, or have a drink or somewhere. Some good people like you might spend it on charity or donation, and you might be happy about it that you have given something to the society out of your income. We came out with a third option. How about it that you can keep this money with you and still someone benefits from your money. We just wanted people that whatever money you have, whatever extra money you have, 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, depending on your level, you give it to us for 1 year. We will use that money for the benefit of the poor. We will use that money to give a loan to the poor so that he can use it for his business, and we will return this money to you after a year so that you can use it for your personal purpose. So everyone benefited, the person who was lending, he benefited, the poor who got the money, he benefited. Rangde, who is the channelizing, who is the mediating this, obviously it benefited from it. And we are an NGO and we are not for profit, so there are no profit motives that we have. So Rangde started in January 2008 when two people from who were based in London of Indian origin, they had come back to India. They wanted to do something about the poverty and everything. So the vision, we have quite a big vision to make poverty history in India. Well, we understand that it's a big vision, but the kind of growth that Rangde has witnessed in 2 years, it is huge, and we feel that in the coming years we would be able to achieve some of it, part of it. So what is Rangde? I mean, Rangde is 95% Rangde is only a website. It's a pioneering web-based social initiative with a mission to provide cost-effective microcredit. So the only model, what I keep telling to people is that the model of Rangde is pretty simple. I take 100 rupees from you. You give that 100 rupees to Rangde. Rangde gives that money to a micro bank or a microfinancial institution somewhere in India, and that microfinancial institution gives that 100 rupees to the poor person. The poor person uses that money for his business, for his engagements, for augmenting his business activities. The 100 rupees come back to the Rangde, and Rangde gives that 100 rupees back to me with interest. So that was a very simple model, and that was picked up by people very frequently. People were coming forward to invest in it, and when I come to the statistics, you would be amused that in 2 years how much growth, almost 3 years now, how much growth we have taken. So it is a registered not-for-profit trust, as I have told you, and it is funded by initially it was funded by CSO Partners and ICICI Foundation. Okay, how does Rangde work? So Rangde works with the grassroots level MFIs and NGOs, the microfinancial institutions and the NGOs to identify their borrowers. So these borrowers are already linked with some of the MFIs or some of the NGOs. So when the inflow of funds comes to these NGOs, the NGOs have already identified borrowers who would get a loan at a lower rate of interest than what they were already getting, and they would get a Rangde loan. See, the kind of interest rates that are there in the microfinance industry, all around India on an average, the interest rate is 24% per annum, which is pretty high, as people here would notice that 24% per annum for a poor person is pretty high, what in response to what we are getting, like 12% or 13% in a formal finance sector. But 24% the poor is able to pay up. What Rangde did was that it was able to reduce the interest rates, and we have the Rangde loan is given at not at 24%, but it is given at only 16.5%. How did we reduce this interest rate? Because the cost of funds for us was very low. We were getting money from people like you who did not want too much returns. Only 2% return is given to the social investors. We have no institutional investment, so we don't have to return too much. We don't have any bank borrowing, so we don't have to return 12% or 13% on the bank loans. Because the cost of funds for us was very low, we were able to reduce, and we pass on all the benefit to the poor borrower so that he can have a reduced rate of interest. Okay, it is, as I told you, it is all online. So all the borrowers that you see will be listed online. You can go to the website, register yourself, and you can choose your borrower. The borrower history will be there, what that borrower does, how does he intend to use that money, where has he used his last Rangde loan, what is his business. He's into basket weaving, he's into coconut selling, he's into vegetable, he wants to open a cycle repair shop, he wants to open a tea shop. Everything will be listed down, and every repayment that he makes, as many of you may know, the repayment for a microfinance loan is weekly. So as soon as he gives your payment would be listed on Rangde website that this much of amount has already come back to you. I'll come back to it with the case studies. Okay, so when the entire loan amount is raised, suppose a person wants to have 5,000 rupees as a loan from Rangde. Now it would be difficult to find one person who can lend all of 5,000 rupees to Rangde. So we actually break that into part. Like you can sponsor 1,200 rupees, you can sponsor 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, and as soon as the money gets collected, we pass on that loan to the poor borrower. And believe me, the model of Rangde is that your money is going to come back. And the repayment rates in Rangde have been 98.9%, so we have had only 1.1% default in 3 years. And whatever money people have invested, we have some big ticket investors also have invested 2 lakh rupees or 50,000 rupees, and they have also got their money back, and we have successfully returned their money. So this is how it is. Any individual can lend as little as rupees 100 by simply registering online. We have also opened a channel for corporate social investments, because many of the firms have their corporate social responsibility arms and they want to associate with Rangde. And so we also tell them that we are not using your money for any donation or charity or augmenting our business, but whatever money in crore rupees or any amount you give us, we'll use it as a loan and give it back to you after a year or whatever the loan duration is. Okay, Rangde partners are, so you can see the map of Rangde. We are everywhere. We are in South India, we are in Maharashtra, we are in Madhya Pradesh, and across North India, across the eastern part of India. So Rangde has spread its wings, all around in 3 years, and we are partnering with the MFIs, the NGOs, who can give these loans to the poor. The partners are taken on board after, so every institution cannot be a partner of Rangde. There is a full due diligence process. We have separate forms to be filled up. We have certain guidelines that a partner can register with Rangde. Rangde partners act as disbursement and collection agents. These obviously the money, so Rangde is not going to fields, and Rangde does not physically go itself to the, to identify borrowers. It has partners. These MFIs are NGOs which are existing in sort of every village, sort of every district in India. They act as partners for Rangde, and they do all that has to be done for giving a microfinance loan, and they are getting their part. I mean, they are getting a 5% profit out of it. Any Rangde loan that is given, they are getting a 5% profit, so even they are happy about it. Currently, Rangde has 18 field partners with operation in 10 states of India. So we started out with one state. I think we started out with Kerala or Tamil Nadu maybe. And but we have now 18 field partners across India, and they are spread across 10 states, and we are growing. Okay, this is a case study about Sabita, who is in Odisha. Now we have some smiling faces also because people are happy about it. So this borrower had taken a loan of 5,000 rupees in 2009, and she is repaying small amounts every week. Her repayments are fixed, and she had to supply coconut stock at a temple. So what she does was that she always bought coconuts, at a higher rate because from the retail or from everywhere, and she was not able to reduce, the cost of coconut that she bought. So we gave her a 5,000 loan so that she can purchase coconuts at wholesale, and because interest rates are so low for Rangde, she is now repaying her amount. This is a very typical example. I will give you a very interesting mathematical thing to solve here. This lady was taking 100 rupees credit every day, and she was giving back 102 rupees at the end of the day. So when Rangde went to this lady and we identified this lady, she told that there is no problem because I am giving only 2 rupees at the end of the day. 100 rupees I borrow, I buy some vegetables, I sell them, and I give back 102 rupees. Now for most of us it would be like, 2 rupees is a small amount, what Rangde had to intervene, why did we intervene here, there was no need. She was giving 2% interest rate every day, and 2% interest rate every day amounts to 60% interest rate for a month. 60% interest rate for a month amounts to 720% interest rate for a year. This is the difference that Rangde has made to the finances of this lady. Of course, she was not able to understand, all this mathematical things that we had to offer. So for 100 rupees that she borrows, ultimately she would give back 720 rupees at the end of the year. Because she is giving 720% interest rate on that 100 rupees that she is getting every day, every day she pays back. Rangde is giving that loan only at 16.5%. So 100 rupees she has to give back only 116 rupees back. This is the difference that maybe she realized or maybe she did not realize, but definitely it made a benefit. She has repaid all of her loan, all of her repayments were in time, obviously because she was able to buy vegetables in wholesale and she was selling it and she had a good profit to make. So this is the difference, that Rangde has been paying. This is one more case study, similar case study about Kavita, who has also taken a loan of 5,000 rupees and she has already repaid it. Her loan was disbursed in 2009. So we have borrowers across sector, vegetables, coconut, fishing, and a cycle repair shop, tea shop. And now as we go ahead, we would also notice, this is about one more case study. This is about bamboo basket weaving. She is also repaying her loan about 2. So they are small ticket, 2,000 rupees, 5,000, 3,000, and this matters a lot for them. Okay. So what are our products? As in, we are giving loans for business. This is about 8.5% flat rates, which is about 16.5% reducing. Loans are for income generation activities. These are not normal loans. Then there are micro enterprise loans. Rangde has now featured into increasing their loan size, and now they are giving loans for more than 25,000 also. And this is the breakup. It's very transparent process, as you notice. That is a breakup of 8.5%. The field partner who is there, who is disbursing a loan, who is on the field, is getting 5% out of it. The social investor, that is you, who has invested into Rangde and you are getting your money back, you are getting 2%. So you are not losing anything because it is about a similar interest rate that you would get in a savings account. And the money that is, extra money that is always there in the savings account, 1,000, 2,000 rupees, you can lend it to us. Rangde is getting 1% out of it to finance its administration expenses, operational expenses and other things. And there is a contingency fund in case, in case your 1,000 rupees has been defaulted by some borrower. So we have a contingency fund out of which we assure that your payment is coming back. So there is no way that, any amount that you have invested is will not be returned. The breakup is a little different for the micro enterprise loan, but it's more over the same. Now, as you would all appreciate, many of the people in the rural areas have not been able to send their children to school because they can't afford the school fees. They can't afford school bags, they can't afford stationery, and they can't afford the other related expenses. So Rangde identified this, and we ventured into this, and we started to provide education loans. And we were not in fact foolish enough to give this money to in the hands of the parents so that they can spend it anywhere else. We had made education vouchers. These education vouchers are given to the schools, and these are synonymous with the fees. So if any child is his fees is about 100 rupees for 3 months or 200 rupees, we give that school a voucher of 200 rupees that this is the fees for this child for 3 months or 6 months or whatever be the case. And these are also given as loan, and the parents of these children are very happy because they are getting the money. They can slowly reduce, they can slowly repay the amounts, and also their children get educated. The breakup is a bit different. The social investor is not getting any return on this. So suppose you have invested 1,000 rupees, you will get back your money, but there would be no interest rate obviously, because this is the way we are reducing the interest rate for the poor so that they can send their children to school. And then there are some loans that we have started for guaranteed vocational education. If some people in the rural areas want to take a vocational education but they do not have the money, so they can come to Rangde, they can avail the loan, and they can give it back once their job starts. So it's about a normal education loan, but it is focused at a very small transaction like a 2,000 rupees, and it is reaching the inner parts of the villages. This is about one of the investors. From the perspective of social investor, this person has invested, he's working in a big investment bank in Mumbai, and he has invested about 50,000 rupees. Now this 50,000 rupees did not come in one go. Firstly he had invested 10,000 in the first year, then his 10,000 came back. So he realized that Rangde is actually, it can be trusted, and it can be, I can invest more amount. So now slowly he has invested 50,000 rupees, and 95% of our social investors do not take their money back. So we keep telling people, because your money is going to come back, your money is going to come back. People have so much trust, and people have seen that over the years, over this 3-year period, then that they are not willing to withdraw, and they say that we want to reinvest this amount. So they are actually willing to reinvest this amount and not take this money back. He said that I believe in Rangde because it is the only viable solution to eradicate poverty from India, instilling a sense of self-belief in the people. So it is actually a migration from the money lenders. It is actually a migration from all those pawns who give you a loan at a very high rate of interest, and you can actually reduce the interest rates and also repay back your money. These are some of the corporate social investors: ICICI Ventures, Zuho, Muthoot, Vernalis Systems, Spark Capital, who have big ticket investments in Rangde, and they have come forward, and they have tied up with Rangde to give their investments. And this is the last slide. So these are the latest statistics. In 3 years, we have reached close to 6,000 borrowers. I think by the time we go back, this would be 6,000 borrowers. So before we close this year, it would be 6,000 borrowers that we have touched base with, and these have been given loans about 5,000, 2,000 rupees, 1,000, as low as 500 rupees, as high as 10,000 rupees also. There are social investors are about 2,400 social investors are there, and notice that these are not the social investors. We are not borrowing from any big banks. We are not having any institutional investments. We are not having any big donations from UNDP, UN, ADB, everywhere. These are people like you and me who have come forward to support Rangde and who have invested their amounts. There are about 7 corporate social investors, the ones that I had listed. The loans raised are astounding. I mean, we have raised 3 crore rupees only from individuals who are maybe studying in colleges, working in their home, working out of their home, working in offices. People everywhere in India, we have raised about 3 crore 16 lakh rupees, and these are the actual figures as on 14th of December 2010. And the loans that have been repaid is around 1 crore 62 lakhs. So we have received the repayment also. The other amount is also coming back. See, if you can see the power, 2,300 social investors are giving 3 crore rupees. So see the importance if that social investors had to just multiply by 10. 23,000 social investors, just a very very small amount compared to the population of India, compared to the literates working in India, compared to the working professionals, and that amount would double to in fact multiply that amount by 10 times, it would be around 35 crores. So the market is so huge that we are not worried about competitors, that run this, what if run there has a competitor. We want to tell these competitors to come and join us and to tie hands with us, open up new branches for Rangde. Maybe you want to have another name. The market is so huge that there is no, right now there is no competition. There is only holding hands and going forward and trying to reduce poverty in India, and therefore in consonance with the mission. So this is what we are headquartered in Chennai. You can come down anytime, and you can also contact us. We are based in Delhi. I am from the Delhi office. You can contact us, and that is also the email ID. And you can get back to us, or you can get in touch with us after the conference if you want to have any more questions or anything. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure we have too many questions waiting for you.
Yeah.
So we
Can
can
I-
start from
can I
now
start
on.
with the first
Yeah, I
question?
think he's the first one to.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
My question to you is, you mentioned Professor Yunus and the Grameen Bank and the microfinance part of it. Professor Yunus is talking about the Global Social Business Development Fund. Does your model in any way tie in with what he is doing conceptually? And if not, then how is it different is my first question.
If you can throw some light on that fund, I have not gone.
Well, Professor Yunus is talking about basically taking money from borrowers, may not be small borrowers like the way you're mentioning, but actually maybe large corporate bodies which contribute a sizable amount of money, which is put into a business development fund so that entrepreneurship is developed at the individual level. The money is paid back to this fund, but the original entity that gives the money doesn't get the money back. It has the ability to draw it back without interest and without any dividend. So you basically, whoever puts in the money doesn't get anything back from that. You just invest it for a social cause, and that in turn generates large scale. So there are examples of companies like Danone, Adidas, which are European companies which have developed sufficient number of products as well as quantum of money invested into this fund. So I'm wondering if your model has drawn upon that, or is it fairly independent in your thought process, and if it's different from that.
Answer to that question would be twofold. It is partly yes and partly no, because some of the money that you're getting from, we can take that money from the fund, because now we have opened up a new arm that is a corporate social investment. So it's synonymous with that we can take out money from them. Suppose X amount of money we can take it from that fund. We can give it to our field partners, and the field partners can give it forward to the borrowers. And when the borrowers return that money, it can again be given to that fund. But I don't know whether that fund has special guidelines. That money can be used for only such activities, or the money can be used for only such business activities. Whether they are willing to, because we would not draw a very big amount. Whatever growth that we have had, it has been on very small amounts. And we are growing very steadily, and we do not want to make any mistakes in that, taking a big amount and not being able to return it later. So definitely when an opportunity like that comes up, as you have mentioned, we appreciate that kind of opportunity. But I think we have to tread very slow on that. So we will look forward to it.
I have a second question, second part of it. You mentioned a number of models which are with the, for example, the basket weaver and the coconut.
Yeah.
How do you identify people who are looking for a business model or who have been borrowing? How do you go about the actual process? I think in the bigger picture, the simpler part of it is getting the funds from people like these in the room or outsiders or friends to donate.
Exactly.
But actually finding viable business entities which give you 98% returns, which you have said, compared to the 2% losses. How do you go about doing that?
So answer to this would be, everyone might be amused at that, how are we finding borrowers? The borrowers are already listed with the microfinancial institutions, with the NGOs that are existing at the grassroots levels, and they have identified their borrowers. And even if that model was, even if that was not there, even if Rangde had to go on to the field and identify their own borrowers, you would be amused to know that there's so many people with such viable business models that they have of which need an investment of only 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. There are so many people that Rangde fortunately does not till now have had any problem in choosing their borrowers. And then the NGO, we rely on these MFIs or these NGOs because they are existing at their homes. They are existing just right next to their homes. They know the local business, they know the local populace, they know the people by names, and they are able to tell us and they are able to guide us that the loans can be given to these borrowers and they are affiliated to us. You can safely give these loans to the borrowers and the repayments are also up to them.
Sure, thanks.
Any question?
I'd like to commend you because you're providing easy access to credit, which is one of the problems in the business. Just two issues. One is the scale of finance. Normally there's a critical scale of finance which is required. You can really lift someone out of the vagaries that he's facing. And if today someone does get a loan of 5,000, which they are repaying for, but if there is some emergency, some exigency in the family, the entire money is going to go for that. It may be illness, it may be something else, and then again that person is caught on that credit money. Now, MFIs have had this issue in Andhra. So how do you cope up with that? One. Second, you have talked of loans at 16.5% to the borrower.
Reducing, yes.
There's a spread of almost 14%, but this is a bit too high. 2% to the social investor and 16.5% to the person who's giving the loan. I'm not saying that it's a high rate of interest because normally MFIs go at 24%.
Exactly.
36% or 24%. Saukars go at 100%, 120%. But isn't the spread a bit too much?
I'll explain you the breakup. Let me answer your second question first. The 16.5% is reducing, so 8.5% flat is interest rate. So if I had to break up that 8.5% flat, 2% is going to the social investor, right? 1%. Okay, 1% is going to Rangde. 3.5% you're fine with 3.5%. 1% Rangde keeps for its administrative expenses. 0.5% is to the contingency fund. The leftover 5% is the amount of money. The 5% is the amount that the MFI or the NGO is agreeing. At that amount it agrees that I will take a loan from you and I will give it. Otherwise, I have other channels who can supply me this money at higher rates of interest. So that 5% is the profit that we have no control over. That 5% is the profit that is passed on to the NGO or the MFI. And right now we do not have too much control because the amount that we have is very less. It's only 3 crore rupees. If it had put in 300 crore rupees, then we would have dominated the business. So we would have said we want to. I think you understood the point.
But the scale of finance isn't that too low?
The scale of finance, okay, sorry, your first question. So, when we started Rangde, of course, when the exigency arises or the emergency arises, that money can go. We always run that risk and that is why the contingency fund is there. But if you had to, look at it from a different perspective, we are giving that money at a low rate of interest compared to the person who would get, compared to a money lender or a sahukar or a pawn, who would even give that, business loan at a very high rate of interest. So that is the difference only. Of course, there are two parts. One is the business part and one is the emergency part. We say that we are not financing his emergency part if the emergency was to rise. But we are at least taking care of his business activity. We are at least taking care of the finances that he needs for business, which otherwise he would have borrowed from a money lender where the interest rates are not, as I mentioned, it is as high as 1200%.
Okay, I have a related question.
Yeah.
16.5% per month you said.
No, it is annum, per annum.
16.5% per annum. You're giving 2% only to the social investors.
So that is, it's not 2%, it is actually, if you had to calculate it into 16.5%, that 2% becomes 4%, because that 16.5% is a reducing.
Okay, even if it is 4%,
yeah.
why would anyone invest other than with the objective of, putting money into Rangde or funding a social cause or funding some, just giving away the money?
That is the point that I mentioned at the start. People like me would never invest, who would want to spend their money on snacks or who want the money to spend on other things. Do not look at Rangde from an investment perspective that, it would give you returns as high as 15-20% in equity or debt related instruments. If you want to do something good and you want to, contribute yourself to the society, but you do not have time, you do not have, enough engagements, you do not trust these websites of donation, charity and everything. This is a platform where you can lend your money, get a very low rate of return on that obviously, but at least your money is safe. Your 1,000 rupees that you have invested.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, please.
Because that was just a query. Now I have to ask my question. The question is that 4% if you are giving to the social investor and 16.5% if you are charging from the borrower. then where is the value to the borrower? And where is the value to the investor? The value is being taken away by the middlemen. And the problem of microfinance has always been the middlemen. You are just changing, this may be a very sharp comment you may find, but one brand of middlemen is being changed to, say, blue collar middlemen to white collar middlemen. But ultimately the middleman is remaining, and that middleman is taking away the major chunk of the value. And as I understand, in microfinance, the biggest challenge is how to reduce this burden of middlemen, so that the gap between what the investor is getting and what the borrower is paying can be reduced. But here what we see is 4% to 16.5% is a gap of about 12.5%, which is too big. So that is number one question. Why have you tried to reduce it? So because my questions would have come in the end because this thing came up, so that's why I'm throwing up my question here. Probably you can address it during the course of your thing. The second question is regarding the financial platform, is how do you identify rung day? Is it a banking institution, a non-banking institution? How have you registered yourself? And when the transaction takes place, when the flow of money takes place, how does it take place? Does it move from the institution directly to the borrower, and when the borrower repays back, does it go directly, or it is routed through rung day? If it is routed through rung day, how have you registered yourself? Have you registered yourself with a non-banking financial institution, as a non-banking financial institution, as a banking financial institution? What is the status of rung day? So these two you can address now or later on. Any other questions?
Could I?
Yeah.
Do I need the mic? So, Mr. Singh, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Probably Dr. Yunus is your role model.
Dr. Yunus is everyone's role model, but we are quite advanced. That happened in 70s or 80s.
Well, I am from the land of Dr. Yunus.
Okay.
And we were in the same university. Are you aware of the fact that Dr. Yunus has invited many questions, many criticisms? I don't know whether or not you are aware of it. And if you are following the footprint of Dr. Yunus, probably you can consider all those criticisms. Number one is, Dr. Yunus, in the name of eradicating poverty from the society, started selling property to the outside world. Number two is, interest rate is very high and he is dragging poor people to the loan trap. Once they are entered into the process, they cannot come out to salvage themselves. Are you aware of the fact that? So if you are, please throw light on.
Exactly, sir. This I would actually take you back to some time in 2008 when I was actually working for a microfinancial institution, and we had, I was in ICICI Bank prior to this, and we had opened host of microfinancial institutions in Thanjavur area of Tamil Nadu. This is from a field experience, and we had studied various models of microfinance, how to open a microfinancial institution, and what would be the interest rate that we can offer loans. What a study told us, what a research told us, is that interest rates in microfinance are high because of three reasons. Firstly, their cost of funds is very high. Their operational cost is very high, and thirdly is the profit margin that they have to pay. Cost of funds, ICICI Bank sometime back used to give loans to these microfinancial institutions at as high as 11 to 12%. So there's no question of giving a loans below that. Second thing is the operational cost. Microfinance is given at your doorstep. The money is given to you at your doorstep, and the repayments are weekly. So there is a small ticket size, 3,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, which is very difficult to offer in a normal banking system. Second, the repayments are given at your doorstep. You do not have to come to the microfinancial institution to give your repayment. The staff goes to your household and takes that money every week. So the frequency is very high. We are giving repayments every week. This is because
I think I have to interrupt here because we have three more presentations, because microfinance is a sensitive issue and the discussion goes on and on. As you know, the whole world is discussing microfinance, and so we can discuss this later on. But the crucial presentations are left, so I think I have to interrupt. We can discuss later on.
Just 5 minutes, wind up, let's wind up.
Okay.
Please wind up.
And secondly,
and then one more question and then we stop.
See, this is, I mean, we can obviously discuss this after this also. The operational cost, the cost of funds, and thirdly the profit margin that the microfinance institution wants to have is so high that you cannot reduce the interest rate, which I had to come back to your question. Reducing the interest rate, the poor were giving, before Rangde was launched, they were having loans at 24%, and they were able to repay it. Obviously, everyone of us wants that the interest rates should be reduced, but there is a level that they can be reduced to. You know, if you have if you have a large fund, if you have 1,000 crores you can spend on microfinance, then obviously you can reduce the interest rates. But if you are coming here with a profit motive, which other than Rangde everyone is, then the interest rates cannot be reduced at below the cost of funds that you are raising, which is around 11% or 12%. So they cannot be reduced below that. And to your question about how Rangde is registered, Rangde is an NGO first, then it is registered as a not-for-profit organization, and third, it is a private trust. So it is registered as a trust, and we are not any banking institution. We do not need all those licenses. We are not any NBFC, and we are not any MFI. We are only working as a website, as an intermediary, where the money comes to us, and the money is given to the MFI. That the money is given first to the MFI, and then the MFI gives that money to the borrower. Same thing goes back. The borrower returns the money to the MFI. The MFI returns it to us, and then we return it back to the social investor. So that is the strength of Rangde. Everything is online. If we had to open our own Rangde institution, if we had to open our Rangde branches where we can give loans directly to the poor, the cost is very huge. You know, reaching penetrating those villages, reaching to the last mile to the poor would be very high for Rangde, and that is where Rangde wanted that we would follow this model, that we would stay away from it. We would be only a website and where people can lend to, and we can pass on that money to the poor.
One last question.
Yeah, so the microfinance model is being attacked by all three cities, right? So you are completely dependent on the MFI institutions. So what the gentleman there said was extremely relevant. And not just emergency, sir. You give 5,000 rupees to a woman, a poor woman, the first thing she would go and do is, she will tell you that she's going to set up a bicycle business, but she'll go and spend it on her school kids' uniforms. I've seen this happening. So the point is control. The point is control. You say, you're tying up with microfinance institutions, credible ones, but they themselves have no control, and that's why even the SKS, the public company, is being attacked, right? So that is the biggest challenge. I don't know how are you helping the microfinance companies on this front. Two, you have replicated the Kiva model. They raised over $100 million. So is this different because you said in your start that you were pioneers?
Pioneers in India.
Okay.
They will not.
And my very last objective question is.
Pioneers because we are
I think let's keep our emotions are in control on microfinance, and okay, just with your final comments.
Just add one comment to that.
Yeah, and we keep it very brief and very brief comments, and then
yeah, I'll do that because I have been part of the microfinance industry, so I could give you the insiders' view on that. Number one, what goes for microfinance is not actually microfinance, it's microcredit. Microfinance is actually the whole services of delivering financial services to the poor, which includes savings. And unless, as he said, it's very right, unless you bring in the entire financial services to the doorstep of the poor, what will happen is whatever loans they take would go into consumption loans, use. And therefore, the state of microfinance industry in India, the crisis that is there actually today, is because the definition of microfinance has been completely altered. It's nothing but just microcredit, giving credit and taking back the money. One comment I have to that is that the interest differential to the borrower, you are very modest when you say that microfinance loan is given at 24%. It's actually anything between 24 and 36%. So there's a huge interest differential that the borrower enjoys when they borrow from Rangde.
Yeah, and there is effective interest rate is even higher because
the effective interest is much more higher. My humble suggestion to Rangde would be that use this interest differential, motivate the borrowers to put that money aside in a savings account, so that whatever you give actually goes into income generation and not for consumption. There is a buffer with the borrower for consumption purposes.
Okay, so let's wind up here, because microfinance is a very vast subject, and I'm sure all of us have all kind of questions on that. It's an upcoming subject, and it's really not stabilized that much, and there are issues. There are interest rates ranging from, as he said, 200% to say as low as maybe 10%. Because there are institutions that do it on a philanthropic basis also. So you have both the extremes. That subject is slightly a trickier subject, and I'm sure we have all kind of queries. So perhaps you can have these sessions in private outside. But thank you very much for making an excellent presentation and trying to respond to the queries of the audience. Let's give him a big hand.
I want to know from